But I've learned to let people talk and not interrupt them. Brother, that is a rare fucking trait in conversation. They're not listening to what the fuck you have to say.
Which is not a conversation.
Which is not a They only listen long enough to get an idea of their own, and then they want to say it.
And today we have an interesting subject to talk about, and we'd like to share it with you. My name is Scott Sagent. I'm here with my good friend James Hampton for another episode of No Fee Philosophy. And James, thanks for being here with me.
Thanks for having me, Scott.
So I want to talk about why human beings are so attracted to water. What is the attraction? Where does it come from? Why does it come from? You know, certain people are more attracted to it than others. Some have to live right by it. Some have to almost be on it. And even if you're not, people seem to enjoy it. If you think of all the vacation destinations, all the, it's such a huge, water is such a huge part of us humans. More so than that we're composed of it, but we're almost drawn to it. So that's what I'd like to discuss now. What's the first thing that occurs to you as I bring that up?
Well, I've always had the perception of, or conception of, we come from water. I feel the attraction to water very strongly. I like being around water, and I'm never more calm than sitting in a boat fishing on the water, being around the water. And I love being at the beach when there's just a light waves coming in. So I'm just acknowledging the fact that I feel that compulsion strongly. Now, I've always thought that comes from, not only genetically do I think we come from water, we are mostly water, physiologically, and we were born from water. We were carried in our mother's womb, surrounded by water, liquids at the very least, and that's where we come from. So I think that it's deep, innate yearnings for water.
So let me ask you this. Do you think it's more of us trying to get back to where we came from in our origins, or is it more of an energetic draw, almost like a conductive quality?
Well, I think that would be an individual thing there. I don't know that you can generalize on that, because I believe that it's both for different people. Me, I just comforted by it. Some people are, perhaps if they're trying to escape something or seek the comfort of the womb, maybe they're trying to get back to it. But me, I just find it comforting.
And it's less about even being in it. It's just being near it.
Yes.
Or on it.
Yes, I agree.
And water is a huge conductor of energy.
Never really thought about that aspect of it.
Which makes me wonder how much of that draw is energetic.
Could be. Yeah, that certainly could be. The energy we draw from it. It could be that it draws negative energy from us. I never really thought about that before.
It certainly could, but I mean, how many people go to the beach and never get in the water, right? Plenty.
Oh yeah,
probably
yeah.
The vast majority.
And that's me more so than any other part of my life. Like I used to want to get in the water all the time. I rarely get in the water anymore. Just being around it, on it.
But if you think of like I brought up the vacation destination, you could be in a hammock anywhere, in a forest, desert, sand. But the ideal is being by water.
There's nothing, to me, there's nothing more soothing than, like I said, a light surf rolling in and a rhythmic waves lapping at the shore. There's nothing more relaxing than that.
And it's probably extremely grounding too, in that it's an element. Water is an elemental. It's the core of, like you said, who we are, where we came from. But it's like the lifeblood to everything.
Well, I think that's true. It's a scientific fact. If there's no water, there's no life. You want to sterilize something, dehydrate it.
Right.
So I think water is life.
Okay, so also with the water, the tides, which
Indeed.
are controlled by the moon, right? And that's why, and I mean, just like humans have an affinity for water, they also have an affinity to the moon, and an attraction to the moon, right?
Well, I think that comes from cycles. We
Sure.
are attracted to cycles. We operate on cycles.
And also, since we're mostly water ourselves, our composition, and the moon has that draw over the water and it affects the tides that way, it's also probably very likely that it has that same draw on us, since we're all water.
Oh,
as well.
I think so. Absolutely.
That's where, the full moon, new moon thing comes
But
from.
I think we're influenced by a lot of cycles, rhythms, if you will, frequencies that influence us, electromagnetic, solar, lunar. I think we're affected by rhythms and frequencies all over the damn place.
Absolutely. And water is just one of those conduits that it has to just have a large influence in ways that we don't understand.